Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host.
All right, my beautiful people, this is ERGJ, your certified financial educator, here with your new Black Wall Street book club. And got some midday manna for you. I just felt inspired to read today with everything that's going on. I don't know, people are hitting me up. We got a lot of deals going on. So I just wanted to take some time to get away from work and, just come in and just kind of show you some of the stuff that I do, man, because I read a lot. And my goal is to read more books this in a month than most people read in a year. People that are successful, they read. So I figured I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna share with you guys something I read. I read this a while ago, but for some reason I was drawn back to it. It's a book that came along with As a Man Thinketh, and it's called From Poverty to Power. So hopefully this will bless you guys. I'm just gonna read it and go through it. But real quick, this episode is brought to you by True Detergent. That's right, True Detergent. 15 Black-owned and manufactured detergent here in the Atlanta area is $15 for this 101-ounce bottle. We do free delivery to your doorstep in the Atlanta area. If you're interested, give us a call, 678-851-2400, 678-851-2400, and go ahead and make the switch to True. Make the switch. Now, if you're interested in considering becoming a distributor for True products, or True Detergent, you can actually click on the link above. It's a True investment session that you can come to. We're going to have that on the 24th to talk to you guys about what you can do to become a distributor. For some reason, people just don't get it. And I'm tired of talking about it. I'm going to provide the opportunity for you to jump on board and, capture profit. But that's up to you. You got to make the decision. You got to click the button. You got to decide that you want to join. We also have tonight, we have the Valentine's investment session. You may be going out, I'm not quite sure, but we're going to be talking about how we can actually benefit and profit from what people are going to do anyway. If they're spending $13 billion into these stores, into these places for Valentine's Day, we want to find out who's going to profit the most for those, and we can profit off those companies. And then also tomorrow is the Dow 30 investment session. So if you're a person that's never invested before, you're brand new to the stock market, you don't even know what a stock market is, well, that's the place that you want to go. If you want to learn, begin to learn how to make your money work for you. This is going to be the place where you can begin to learn the language of money. Everybody put in the comments below the language of money. See, many of us, we don't speak the language of money. We don't speak the language of the wealthy. We speak the language of the poor. And so once we begin to understand a different language, we can actually apply this language into our life, and we can actually learn how to earn. That's right, learn how to earn. What's going on, Cheryl? How are you? So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. What's going on, Justin? Adrian's in the building. Mr. Burton's in the building. I'm not going to take up too much of your time with all of the extra stuff that I have. I really just wanted to get right into this book, From Poverty to Power. Again, I need to add this to my recommended reads, but I do have this book. It came as a part of As a Man Thinketh. So we're going to get right into it. And today's lesson is the lesson of evil. The lesson of evil. The lesson of evil. Let me turn this down. All right. So unrest and pain and sorrow are the shadows of life. There is no heart in all the world that has not felt the sting of pain. No mind that has not been tossed upon the dark waters of trouble. No eye that has not wept the hot, blinding tears of unspeakable anguish. There's no household where the great destroyers, disease and death have not entered, severing heart from heart and casting over all the dark pall of sorrow. And the strong and apparently indestructible meshes of evil, all are more or less fast caught, and pain, unhappiness, and misfortune wait upon mankind. With the object of escaping or in some way mitigating this overshadowing gloom, men and women rush blindly into innumerable devices, pathways by which they finally hope to enter into a happiness that will not pass away. Such are those who revel in sensual excitements. Such are the exclusive aesthetes who shut themselves out from the sorrow of the world and surround themselves in enervating luxury. Such are those who thirst for wealth or fame and subordinate all things to the achievement of that object. And such are those who seek consolation in the performance of religious rites. What's going on, Wanda? How are you? And to all, the happiness sought seems to come, and the soul for a time is lulled into a sweet security and an intoxicating forgetfulness of the existence of evil. But the day of disease come at last, or some great sorrow, temptation, or misfortune breaks suddenly in on the unfortified soul, and the fabric of its fancied happiness is torn to shreds. So over the head of every personal joy hangs the Damoclean sword of pain. ready at any moment to fall and crush the soul of those who are unprotected by knowledge. So it's saying here that there is some protection from evil when you have knowledge. Let me repeat that again. That's it. It's the Damoclean sword of pain is ready at any moment to fall and crush the soul of those who are unprotected by knowledge. So put in the comments below, knowledge protects me. Knowledge protects me. Now, of course, we can talk about the wisdom of ages or the wisdom of God, but just for the purposes of this book, let's put knowledge protects me. The child cries to be a man or woman. The man and woman sigh for the lost felicity of childhood. The poor chafe under the chains of poverty by which they are bound, and the rich often live in fear of poverty or scour the world in search of an elusive shadow they call happiness. Sometimes the soul feeds that it has found a secure peace and happiness in adopting a certain religion, in embracing an intellectual philosophy, or in building up an intellectual or artistic ideal. But some overpowering temptation proves the religion to be inadequate or insufficient. The theoretical philosophy is found to be a useless prop, or in a moment, the idealistic statue upon which the devotee has for years been laboring is shattered into fragments. Is there then no way to escape from pain and sorrow? Are there no means by which the bonds of evil may be broken? Are permanent happiness, security, prosperity, and abiding peace just a foolish dream? No, there is a way, and I speak it with gladness, by which evil can be overcome. There's a process. Everybody put in the comments below process. There's a process by which disease, poverty, or any adverse condition or circumstance can be put on one side, never to return. Repeat that again. There is a process by which disease, poverty, or any adverse condition or circumstance can be put on one side, never to return. There's a method. Everybody put in the comments below method. So first we got process, then it says that there's a method. There's a method by which a permanent prosperity can be secured, free from all fear of the return of adversity, and there is a practice. Everybody put in the comments below practice. We got process, we got method, and we got practice. There's a practice by which unbroken and unending peace and bliss can be partaken of and realized. The beginning of the way that leads to this glorious realization is the acquisition of a right understanding of the nature of evil. The beginning of the way that leads to this glorious realization is the acquisition of the right understanding of the nature of evil. It is not sufficient to deny or ignore evil. It must be understood. Everybody put in the comments below, understood. It must be understood. It is not enough to pray to God to remove the evil. You must find out why it is there and what lesson it has for you. Isn't this something? This guy is saying here in this book that evil brings with it a lesson. So he's saying you must find out why it is there and what lesson it has for you. And how many of you guys know that if you read the Bible, you believe in the Bible, that there was this man named Job, and in the beginning of that story, evil came and spoke to God, and God said, go ahead. Like he gave the evil permission to go mess with Job, and Job had a lesson he had to learn. So you must find out why it is there and what lesson it has for you. It is of no avail to fret and fume and chafe at the chains that bind you. You must know why and how you are bound. Therefore, you must get outside yourself. Everybody say, get outside myself. And you must begin to examine and understand yourself. You must cease to be a disobedient child in the school of experience and must begin to learn with humility and patience the lessons that are set for your edification and ultimate perfection. For evil, when rightly understood, is found to be not an unlimited power or principle in the universe, but a passing phase of the human experience. And here's what we say, if you, again, back to the Bible, it says, this too shall pass. He's saying that here, evil is nothing more but a passing phase of the human experience. And it therefore becomes a teacher to those who are willing to learn. How many of you are willing to learn the necessary lesson for which your obstacle is come upon you? How many of you guys are willing to learn the necessary lesson from which the obstacle that is in front of you has come upon you? Evil is not an abstract something outside yourself. It is an experience in your own heart. Everybody put in the comments, well, it's going to be hard to write, but evil is an experience. Evil is an experience. Now, when you say the word evil, your mind can go anywhere, right? Because you've experienced something that other people haven't experienced. So I don't know where you're going to go in your mind when you say the word evil, because ultimately your mind going to go somewhere. But the point here is to get in this book and figure out what it is that this guy is saying, that evil is an experience in your own heart. Isn't it something? It's an experience in your own heart, and by patiently examining and rectifying your heart, you will gradually be led into the discovery of the origin and nature of evil, which will necessarily be followed by its complete eradication. All evil is corrective. All evil is corrective and remedial, and it is therefore not permanent. It is rooted in ignorance. So remember, we said that knowledge can protect you. Remember, we said you're unprotected because you don't have knowledge. Now he's saying that evil is rooted in ignorance. So that those that say that if you become educated in the place that you're ignorant just means that you have not the knowledge. If you just become educated in the area where you do not know, then you can begin to uproot this thing that's temporary anyway. It is rooted in ignorance of the true nature and relation of things. And so long as we remain in that state of ignorance, we remain subject to evil. Woo! There is no evil in the universe which is not the result of ignorance, and which would not, if we were ready and willing to learn its lesson, lead us to a higher wisdom and then vanish away. You say evil is a person? Okay, you got to explain that to me. Let me read that again. There is no evil in the universe. Oh, you want to repeat what it is? Evil is ignorance. There is no evil in the universe which is not the result of ignorance, and which would not, if we were ready and willing to learn its lesson, lead us to higher wisdom and then vanish away. But people remain in evil, and it does not pass away because they are not willing or prepared to learn the lesson that it came to teach them. How many of us have been in this situation? Or how many of us know people that are in this situation right now? They're dealing with something that they would consider to be evil. Now, we can define it in whatever way we want. It could be, I don't know, it could, we call anything the devil. But let's just say this. Let's just say, okay, whatever it is that you consider to be evil in your life right now, or in the life of someone else, is it not that it too would pass away if we were just willing and or prepared to learn the lesson that in which it came to teach us? How many of you guys will be bold enough to say right now, you have learned a lot from evil? You've learned a lot. You've learned some lessons from the evil that you've had to deal with. You've learned how to be a better judge of character. In the comments below, for those that are watching right now, I want you to tell me some of the lessons, or just give me one lesson that you've learned in dealing with evil. And I just gave you one, right? I learned to be a better judge of character. What about you? What have you learned? What lesson have you learned in dealing with evil? And then while you write that in the comments, I'm going to go ahead and repeat this one more time. There's no evil in the universe which is not the result of ignorance, and which would not, if we were ready and willing to learn its lesson, lead us to a higher wisdom and then vanish away. But people remain in evil, and it does not pass away because they are not willing or prepared to learn the lesson that it came to teach them. What lesson have you learned in your dealings with evil? I knew a child who every night when his mother took it to bed cried to be allowed to play with the candle. And one night, bad consequences, yes. And one night when the mother was off guard for a moment, the child took hold of the candle. The inevitable result followed. Then the child never wished to play with the candle again. But it's one foolish act. It learned, and it learned perfectly the lesson of obedience, and entered into the knowledge that fire burns. Yes, indeed, to embrace it because it's a part of all of us. Fire burns. And this incident is a complete illustration of the nature, meaning, and ultimate result of all sin and evil. As the child suffered through his own ignorance and the real nature of fire, so older children suffer through their ignorance, or the real nature of the things which they weep for and strive after, and which harm them when they are secured. The only difference being that in the latter case, the ignorance and evil are more deeply rooted and obscure. How many of you guys would say today that I'm still a child in some areas? And basically what we're saying is, hey, you might be old, you might be of age, you might be over 21, but there's still some places, i.e. financial education, that we could be children at. right, that we could be ignorant of, right? I mean, we gotta be honest, right? We gotta be honest here. So John Rico said, it's all about managing my own emotions. People can do evil or be evil to me, but the more self-aware and pure I am with my own intent, evil doesn't affect it as greatly. When I don't know who I am, woo, oh yeah, when I don't know who I am, evil gets to me faster. So basically what John Rico is saying is that when I lose myself, right? When I lose myself, because there's times when we lose ourselves, right? And then evil starts to get the best of it. Oh man, this is good stuff. So evil has always been symbolized by darkness, but good by light. And hidden within the symbol is contained the perfect interpretation, the reality. For just as light always floods the universe, and darkness is only a mere speck or shadow cast by a small body intercepting a few rays of the illimitable light, so the light of the supreme good is the positive and life-giving power which floods the universe. And the evil, the insignificant shadow, by the self that intercepts and shuts off the illuminating rays which strive for entrance. When night folds the world in its black impenetrable mantle, no matter how dense the darkness, it covers but the small space of half of our little planet, while the whole universe is ablaze with living light. And every soul knows it will awake in the light in the morning. Know then that when the dark night of sorrow, pain, or misfortune settles down upon your soul and you stumble along with weary and uncertain steps, that you are merely intercepting your own personal desires between yourself and the boundless light of joy and bliss. And the dark shadow that covers you is cast by none and nothing but yourself. Woo! It's getting hot in here. Know then, let me repeat that again. Know then that when the dark night of sorrow, pain, and misfortune settles down upon your soul, and you stumble along with weary and uncertain steps, that you are merely intercepting your own personal desires between yourself and the boundless light of joy and bliss. And the dark shadow that covers you is cast by none and nothing but yourself. And just as the darkness without it is, and just as the darkness without is but a negative shadow, an unreality which comes from nowhere goes to nowhere and has no abiding dwelling place. So the darkness within is equally a negative shadow passing over the evolving and light-born soul. But why pass through the darkness of evil at all? Because by ignorance you have chosen to do so. And because by doing so you may understand both good and evil, and may more appreciate the light by having passed through the darkness. How many guys appreciate the light a lot more when you go through some darkness? Like, yes, the light is finally back. You know, I was just thinking about Hurricane when he was sitting in the hole all them days or months or whatever, and he finally got out and got some light, man. You start to appreciate some light then. Where was I? Oh, okay. And as evil is the direct outcome of ignorance, so when the lessons of evil are fully learned, ignorance passes away and wisdom takes its place. Oh, so the book I'm reading is called From Poverty to Power. It comes with the book As a Man Thinketh, but it's Poverty to Power. So I'm reading that part. And I'm reading the section of Lesson of Evil. So when the lessons are fully learned, ignorance passes away and wisdom takes its place. Some of you guys have noticed that too. Like when you go through your battle with evil and you come to this self-realization, and then that ignorance that you are dealing with passes away. In other words, you're now in the know. Now wisdom has taken the place of ignorance, and therefore you don't even really see or are even bothered by the evil that came with ignorance, because now you have enlightened yourself. This is what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about enlightenment. When you become enlightened or illuminated, when you get revelation or wisdom, there is no place for evil or for ignorance or for darkness in your life. No darkness in your soul, darkness in your heart. It's by James Allen. Thanks so much, Kazan. But as a disobedient child, how many guys would be honest? Raise your hands and say, I've been a disobedient child. In some areas of my life, I definitely have been disobedient. I've been disobedient. But as a disobedient child refuses to learn its lessons at school, So it is possible to refuse to learn the lessons of experience. Everybody put in the comments below, lessons of experience. Refuse to learn the lessons of experience and thus to remain in continual darkness and to suffer continually recurring punishments in the form of disease, disappointment, and sorrow. Now, I've been there. Too many times when I am being disobedient, when I'm not willing to learn this lesson, I find myself going, mulling over the same stuff over and over and over again. That's where stress comes in at, right? That's when you don't even want to get out of bed. You don't even want to face the day. You might not even want to live no more. I mean, let's just keep it real. You're going through that moment in time where you are dealing with darkness that comes from your very own self. Lessons of experience. But thus to remain in continual darkness, to suffer continually recurring punishments in the form of disease, disappointment, and sorrow. How many of you guys know that happy people hardly get sick? Happy people hardly ever get sick. But the people who are stressed out, depressed, they always seem to get sick. I don't know if it's, I don't know. I just know that I tend to see the happier a person is, the less I see them in the hospital. Might be something there. So if you wish to shake yourself free of the evil which encompasses you, you must be willing and ready to learn and must be prepared to undergo that disciplinary process. Everybody put in the word comments below, process, without which no grain of wisdom or abiding happiness and peace can be secured. You may shut yourself up in a dark room and deny that light exists when it is everywhere without and darkness exists only in this little room. So you may shut out the light of truth, or you may begin to pull down the walls of prejudice, self-seeking, and error that you have built around yourself, and so let in the glorious and omnipresent light. By earnest self-examination, strive to realize, and not merely hold as a theory. Put that in the comments below. Strive to realize. This is a process. We got to strive to realize. Yeah, a merry heart does like good. There we go. We got to find out. What was that scripture? True, a scripture says a merry heart does good like medicine. All right, fantastic. Yeah. Where was I at? Strive to realize. Okay. Where was that? By earnest self-examination, strive to realize and not merely hold as a theory that evil is a passing phase, a self-created shadow, that all your pains, sorrows, and misfortunes have come to you by a process of undeviating and absolutely perfect law, have come to you because you deserve and require them, and that by first enduring and then understanding them, you may be made stronger, wiser, and nobler. How many of you guys know that going through this process of dealing with and overcoming and conquering this phase, this temporary phase in your life, you come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and nobler? So for some people, it only take once to learn the lesson, right? We go through something, we learn like, oh, that hurt, that's hot, I'm not gonna touch that again. Well, for some people, they gotta keep burning their hand over and over and over and over again until they finally realize, okay, now I finally learned my lesson. I'm finally no longer naive. I'm no longer ignorant. I'm no longer a baby as it relates to this particular area of my life. I finally learned my lesson. I've graduated. And I'm wiser, I'm stronger, and I'm nobler. When you, what'd you say? This is why I can't lose weight. It's making me stronger. When you have fully entered into this realization, illumination, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, you will be in a position to mold your own circumstances, to transmute all evil into good, and to weave with the master hand the fabric of your destiny. Repeat that one last time, guys. When you fully enter this realization, this illumination, this place of understanding, you will be in a position to mold your own circumstances. You'll create your life. Transmute all evil into good. All things work together for the good, right? And to weave with the master hand the fabric of your very own destiny. From poverty to power, guys. This is the lesson on evil, man. I just felt inspired to be able to just read this to you guys. And I hope you guys got something out of it. If you did, go ahead and leave in the comments below what's your takeaway from today. And if we should continue in this series, I can do this on a midday thing. This will be my midday manna, just to kind of get something out, get away from work, and share some things with you guys. But if you guys like that, we can continue in this series. And the next one is The World of Reflex and Mental States. Let's see how long this one is. It's not that long. They're only about seven pages long. So, so this is From Poverty to Power. That's in the book. It came with the book As Man Thinketh, but it's in the back section. So it's a separate portion of the book. But of course, we can read them As Man Thinketh as well. And this will be my midday reading, just real quick, just to recalibrate my thoughts and know. From this, I learned, man, you know, we got the power. We can take control, and we can really be in a position of power as it relates to this lesson on evil. So did you guys learn a lesson on evil today? Was this worth your time being here today? You have all of his books. So fantastic. So I'll look to continue this. I just felt this pride. I got so much going on. It was just so great. So I want to appreciate you guys' time. Remember this, guys. Today's episode is brought to you by True Detergent. That's right. True Detergent, black-owned manufacturer right here in the Atlanta area. 678-851-2500. We're doing free delivery to your doorstep in Atlanta. If you're interested in learning how you become a distributor as well, you want to go ahead and click that link in the description above and learn how to become a distributor yourself. At the end of the day, guys, there is profit here. I can lead you. I can lead a horse to water, but I cannot make you drink. We do have a session tonight, Valentine's Day, and a session tomorrow, the Dow Jones 30. We're going to go through this most significant stocks. Yeah, you can. I'll send you a link. You can go through the most. You can order. We're going to go through the 30 most significant stocks, and that's going to be a place for all you beginners who want to learn about investing, want to learn how to make your money work for you, want to learn this new language. That's where we want to be on Wednesday night. Anyway, this is ERGJ from ERGJ Enterprise, New Black Wall Street Book Club, From Poverty to Power. This today was our lesson on evil, and we'll pick back up. Maybe tomorrow. I'll see when I can do it. I don't know when I can do it again, but thanks so much for your time. Let's build as we climb together.
Thanks to you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We'll see you all there at the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.